Hello YouTube, my name is Nick, and today I have yet another I got some metal stuff video. Still trying to figure out the name. Any recommendations would be appreciated, to say the least, because I'm not a very creative person. So I got a lot of different stuff today. I got a lot of death metal stuff. I'm actually gonna follow through with my my other swag promise, I guess. I haven't been showing like the other stuff besides albums and stuff. So we're gonna do that today. First one I have up is the new Xenomorphic Contamination, entitled Colonized from Inside, I believe. Has a little flip case with this super awesome album artwork. This is some pretty incredible brutal death metal. It's not super long. It gets its point across pretty quickly. I'd almost say sometimes it's a little bit deathcore-y, which I definitely don't entirely mind. Even what they're playing might typically be deathcore-ish, but in the tone that they're playing it, it's definitely still brutal death metal. And I got a pretty swag hat. I collect hats in any kind of form, especially slam hats, brutal death metal hats, whatever. And I also got a shirt of the album artwork. Let's see if this will show up well. Here's the back. Colonized from the inside. The little contamination logo ghosted in, and their band logo. Pretty sweet. I haven't bought real clothes in years, so all my metal clothes are pretty much what I wear entirely. So yeah, go check out Xenomorphic Contamination if you like brutal death metal. It's not really slam. I know it might sound like slam, but it's not really. This next one is another death metal album that I've been pretty much obsessed with. There's a couple on here that, man. This one is the new Zealotry, entitled The Last Witness. Has another slipcase, more of an O card, I guess. Fits very tightly, and has some amazing album artwork. I'm probably going to ruffle some feathers by saying this, but this is very similar to the Catalepsy album that came out earlier this year, and I think this is like 10 times better. I know I'm going to get some flack for that if enough people see it, but it's almost kind of disturbing how similar this album is with the new Catalepsy, because I don't know if I covered it on the channel, but I did buy it, and I liked it, but I don't know if I necessarily got all the hype behind it. But this is like, my god, this is highest level death metal that you can possibly imagine. Super long songs at some points, ample playing time, incredible production and instrumentation. I could just listen to this forever. I've been listening to this non-stop recently, and I recommend you do the same if you haven't checked this out at least. Their first album is amazing as well. This is their sophomore, and go check them out because they rule. That's Zealotry with The Last Witness. This next album is not death metal, maybe one of the only ones that isn't. This is For You I Die by Chalice of Suffering. Great title, great band name. Super depressing, almost kind of cheesy at sometimes, like symphonic-y funeral doom, kind of in the vein of Shape of Despair or something. This is super good. Just took me by surprise because you don't hear a lot of stuff like this anymore. Really, really long song titles. Not long song titles, just long songs, as usual with the genre. And there are several songs on here, 8 songs I believe. Super amazing stuff, really touching. The vocals are very unique, a lot of pseudo spoken word at some points. It's really good stuff. If you liked the funeral dooms or the just the atmospheric doom metal stuff, check out Chalice of Suffering. These next two I got directly from the band, and I'm very happy I did because I love this band a lot, and it took me a little while to actually buy this. This is The Parable of Scorched Earth by Torturous Inception. This is their debut, I believe, with the Mark Cooper artwork. You'll probably be seeing a little more of that recently. Love me some Mark Cooper, amazing artist, and as well as these guys. This is some of my favorite, like, technical, brutal death metal, whatever you want to call it, that I've heard in quite some time. The songwriting is just, excuse me, it's just like immaculate. And I can't get enough of this stuff. They just put out a new EP. I don't even know if it has a physical format. I think it's called like Void or something. But yeah, definitely check these guys out. And I also have their EP that came after this, Headfirst into Oblivion. Some more amazing Mark Cooper artwork. This is probably the more synonymous album with them, even though it's not really an album. But this is just even more amazing brutal death metal. Again, the songwriting is probably the strongest aspect of this band, as well as their musicianship to go along with it, because you kind of need a good mixture of both. This next album is, again, not death metal, but I've been waiting a long time to get my hands on this, essentially only because of shipping costs, and it kind of just got down recently. This is, just 3 by Spectral War. I pretty much love everything Voidhanger puts out, but I can rarely buy from them because their shipping costs are always really ridiculous. And I managed to get a hold of this without paying like $40. And that's not a knock to them. I'm sure they have things to do as well, but it's hard to pay that much for a CD. But yeah, I fell in love with this as soon as I heard it. It's been a couple years since this came out as a double album, and this will take you to places like no other blackish, deathish, doomish album can, really. It's so atmospheric. The production is immaculate. The instrumentation, the songs, the last song on the first album is one of the most gorgeous songs I've ever heard in my life. If you like just good instrumental music, or like, I don't know, Baroque or something, go listen to that. Highest quality music in general you can find anywhere with Spectral War. So definitely check this album out. They put out a lot more material recently with EPs and stuff, so check out all that as well. Now, I'm probably gonna butcher this name, but I have no idea how anyone could not butcher this name. And this also takes the cake for best album artwork of the year so far. Let's get a close-up on that, without a glare maybe. This is the new Cricks Cure, or however you want to say it. I'm going to try to get the name on here. It'll be in the description as always, like everything always is, but come on. That's a pretty ridiculous name. But this is ultra evil, like death and black metal, I guess. It's a little more death metal than black metal. It's 3 songs. It's an EP technically, and it's 2 songs are about 15 minutes long. One's about 9 minutes, I think, if I remember right. And my God, this stuff is just brutally heinous, evil, amazing musicianship and songwriting as well. The longer I've been going, listening to metal and stuff, the more I focus on songwriting and stuff. And these guys have it down pat, and I can't say enough about that artwork. Give me like a 5-foot by 5-foot flag of that. I will buy like 10 of them. So yeah, check out Cricks Cure. It'll be in the description. And the title of that, by the way, is Three Devils Dance, because there are 3 songs. This next album I wasn't entirely happy with, but I didn't really know until I bought it. This is the new Catalepsy with Gravenous Hour. I love Autopsychosis. I listen to that like maybe once a month if I'm feeling in the mood and the mood strikes. They had something good for them. They filled a niche. They found their sound after many years of making music. Like they had that groovy slam. They had the brutality. And with this album, they kind of stuck with the brutality, but made it a lot more technical and maybe a little more generic sounding. But that's my humble opinion. You may not agree. And I just feel like if this wasn't a Catalepsy album, I would like it way more than I do. But since I know what they made with their last album and they changed so significantly, it just kind of leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. I do like this album, don't get me wrong, but I don't like it for a Catalepsy album. And I also bought the flag of this, which I'm not going to show because it's really big. So if you do like, brutal technical origin style kind of stuff, check this out. I would recommend this, even though I don't know, I just didn't like it as much as I probably would have if they didn't do so many different things. This next album blew my pants off. This is one of the most jaw-dropping, mind-blowing, pants-ruining albums I've ever heard. This is the new First Fragment, their debut album, Dazian, or Dasein, something like that. I kind of went all in on this album. They put out their first song, the first song off the album. It's all in French, by the way, so I'm not going to try. I know a little bit of French, but I'm still not going to try. I heard the first song, and it impressed me so much that I went knee-deep into the merch stuff. I bought the jacket, which has 2 different hood prints. I bought the long sleeve, which, if you get to know me a little better, you know I like long sleeve over a short sleeve. It has a sleeve print with the album artwork on it. And I also bought the vinyl, which I don't buy a lot of death metal vinyl, but I had to buy this. And this album blew my pants off. This album pretty much ruined my entire existence of clothes. I crapped myself so much when I heard this. This is, honestly, all joking aside, one of the most impressive albums I've ever heard. This should put them in the contending for the best tech death bands and albums ever, in my opinion. I haven't been this impressed with a tech death band since I first found Spawn of Possession, and that should say a lot because I do listen to a lot of tech death. And if you haven't heard this, please do yourself a favor, drop everything, stop watching this video, and go listen to this. Do it right now. So yeah, that's my word on that. These next 2 I got directly from the band. I guess I'll show this one first. This is Savage Retribution by Endless Affliction. Really weird, kind of... I don't even know how to describe it, really. It's brutal death metal with some technicality in it, but it's performed very strangely, and you'll know exactly what I mean when you first listen to this. I think it's on a CDR. Yeah. Very awesome stuff, but it's very strange to describe. It's almost... I'm not going to try to describe it that well, because I know I'll fail, but this is their debut, but my disc got really messed up, and it's missing like half the songs on it. So I guess I could listen to the digital version since I did buy it on Bandcamp, but I don't know. Whatever. Things happen, I guess. Plus, it's I'm pretty sure this is self-released. So yeah, go check out Endless Affliction. They're super strange, brutal death metal, tech death, and I think you'll know what I mean as soon as you hear it. And I saved one of the best for last. This is something I never thought I would purchase, and I know I'll get more hate for this even. This is the new Vector with Terminal Redux. This is not uncommon for people who know me. I do not like Vector's first 2 albums pretty much whatsoever, entirely because of the vocals. I cannot sit through an entire album by them, the first 2, but this album changes everything. They fixed everything that I disliked about Vector in general and just blew up the world with their songwriting and their dexterity and the ridiculous musicianship, the lyrics, the album artwork, the production. There's been enough said about this album that I don't know if I can do it any more justice. This is a modern masterpiece along with the first Fragment album. I don't even know what to say about that album. I'm always optimistic about new releases, but I don't plan on them actually following through, especially with bands that I don't especially like. And I also got a shirt of it. It's the baseball tee, short sleeve, well, long and short sleeve, whatever, with the Spaceman on it. So yeah, go check out Vector with Terminal Redux if you haven't. Extremely long album, but it's worth your time and worth the effort of listening to it, because it gives you the feels, man. Especially the second half, it gets so kind of touchy, and they add a lot more melody to the songwriting. And just do it. Just take my word for it. I wouldn't show anything on this channel that I don't approve of, for the most part. So that's going to be the end of this video. The next video I'm going to do is going to be a very different series that I can probably do long term, which I hope you like. So I'll see you next time.